Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. I started it back up.
Well, this is Sean, so.
You guys can hear fine. Hey, Alexis.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Kyle, can you hear us?
I mean, I can hear everybody.
Okay, excellent. So Natalia
I used to get it.
still having technical difficulties and hear us. So hopefully that gets sorted out. But in the meantime, Alexis, you can continue with explaining what exactly your organization does, the members that are a part of it, if you have like an exec board, if you have any government assistance and things like that with it, you can continue with that.
Okay, great. What it is, it's called the DeMarco Foundation / organization. What it is, we are an organization that reach out and provide resources and information to LGBTQI individuals in the Bahamas and also abroad. Now, the work here in the Bahamas, mainly we deal with all scopes of the LGBT community, from transgenders to teen transgenders to just normal GLBTQ bisexual individuals, counseling them on who they are, giving them information as far as resources is concerned, where they can go for help to find out just different things about themselves. When it relates to transgendered individuals, we do have a support group called Caribbean Girls Like Us. And what it is, it's an online support group that helps upcoming transgenders here in the Bahamas identify with who they are. We link them with doctors who assist them as far as hormonal treatment and getting the basic needs as a transgendered individual here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We do work with some organizations here, such as the AIDS Foundation, such as PEPFAR, different organizations that allow us the opportunity to meet the needs of the transgendered individual and the LGBTQ individuals here in the Bahamas. So there is some support here for individuals.
How large would you say the transgender community is in terms of the individuals that come to you for assistance in basically trying to figure out who they are, getting some support, and what are the next steps?
Well, right now we have a group of about 20 individuals who have identified as being transgendered. Out of that 20, 4 of them are teenagers, and we have that is still actually kids whose parents have identified their child as transgendered children. So we do have a little upcoming community, and what it is that the visibility for them is kind of difficult at this time. Most of them are visible, and most of them just stay in the shadows for particular reasons. And the reason is to protect them, from the society who would probably cruelly say, oh, what you're doing to your child is wrong. Your child don't know what he's going through. That's just a phase. You hear different stuff like that. But as a parents identify their children. They know their children better than anybody else. And these are parents who are educated, who have cum laudes, who understand that there's diversity in life. So they have allowed their child the opportunity to express themselves in the gender that they feel comfortable in.
Okay. Now, see, that's something that I had no knowledge on. I did not know that we have a huge transgendered community, especially in terms of kids, and parents are supportive of that. So
yes.
When these persons approach your organization to get this additional support, or even to get some knowledge into how exactly they can move forward with their kids, what do you say that the next steps in the process should be?
Well, the next step after getting the information is what you do with the information. Some parents, like I know of a particular case, she've allowed her child to just live who you are, and she has took the child into homeschooling just to protect her child, which is understandable, And economics also play a heavy role because you would need to have the necessary resources for hormonal treatment to start suppressing hormones within the child. It's a lot of different things that you have to do. So it's an individual choice, especially for parents, how they're going to move forward with the transitioning of their children. And the thing about it is, what I've found that most of the parents that come to us, they have already had some information and done some research or saw some social media or went to some doctor in the States and had their child diagnosed. But the thing about it is, shipping your child out and packing them up to the States is not an option anymore for most parents. So they're trying to find solutions and resources here in the Bahamas for their kids.
And aside from your organization, are there any other resources?
There are international resources that deal with transgender kids and transgenders, especially in the United States. There is the National Organization for Transgender Equality that has a very great linkages with us here in the Bahamas that assists us with information and resources. Funding, we do have some private funding that comes from persons who understand transgender and they donate to the cause.
Excellent. Natalia, Kyle, do you guys have any questions for Alexis as it relates to our foundation? And can y'all even hear? Well, I don't think that Natalia can hear us, and I think Kyle might have even had some technical difficulties himself. So
okay.
I think we're going to just continue with you.
Okay.
And based on conversation that I had with Kendra, we're more than likely going to have a part 2 next week, seeing that we had so many difficulties this go around. The part 2 may just be Natalia and Kyle and myself, unless you're interested in joining again next week.
Okay.
All right, excellent. So basically, we touched on harassment in place. We touched on harassment in schools, and we also touched on what exactly our organization does to assist these persons that are transgender. Now, speaking in a general sense, not just to transgendered persons, but the entire LGBTQ community, what are your thoughts on bullying in social media? So we have, I don't know if you follow this page, Bahamas News. I follow it. Recently, they've kind of amped up their attacks on the mostly male homosexual community, as a drag queens as well. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you think that we can prevent this from happening in the future, if at all?
Well, see, the thing with social media, it's an open forum, it's an open book. People have choices, and the choices that they make to bash an individual, they have free speech, Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and I respect that. I respect people's opinion, but what I don't respect is when you try to defame an individual's character. Now, when you defame an individual character, you're going into the legal process of being likely to be sued or anything like that. So the thing about it is being careful when you start defaming character. Now, you could say anything you want to say about a person, but when you go into the personal lives of their character, that's a problem for me. And as it relates to social media, and I don't follow it. I do comment at times when I do see certain posts. But the thing about it with social media, it's like a win. Good media, bad media, all is media, publicity. So the thing about that post that you're talking about, attacking GLBT individuals, especially those in the entertainment section, I think what it is, it's more of a kicks and laugh jokes type kind of thing, which is wrong. Because you don't know what that individual is going through at that time, and you see that, and it just makes their whole frame of mind go into a state of depression. It can cause suicide tendencies. It is just so much involved with that type of harassment. And you have to be very, very careful when you do that type of thing, especially to individuals in the LGBTQI community. Attacking GLBT individuals, especially those in the entertainment section, I think what it is, it's more of a kicks and laugh jokes. Okay. I was getting a little bit of feedback there. Hello?
I just realized that I had muted myself.
Yeah.
So I was basically saying that I think that Natalia had been watching from the YouTube link, and that's what that feedback would have been, just her watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So you can continue with what you were saying.
Yeah, as I was saying it gets very dangerous when it comes to attacking their character, because at the time you don't know what that individual is going through, especially with LGBTQ persons, you know. I mean, the thing about it is you're using it for kicks and laughs, but this is a person's life. This is a person's entertainment life, you know. The thing about it is we need to become more sensitive to the needs of individuals, because I'm sure if it was that individual behind the jokes and the laughs, they wouldn't like them. Only because you know that child or whoever is an open entertainer, you're going to put them out there on blast, but use derogatory and false information towards that individual, that's wrong, you know. I mean, the thing about it is free speech is free speech, but what was the purpose of that? You know, what are you getting out of that? Yes, drag queens exist. They've been around for a long time, you know, so what's the big deal? Bahamians act so crazy when it comes to this type of thing. Oh, look at him dressed like that's a form of entertainment. You watch Medea, don't you? You know, you watch Big Mama House, you watch all of these actors doing. So what is the thing when it comes to Bahamians embracing who they are, entertaining and enjoying their own self and their own characters, you know? We just have this hypocritical state of mind for us, you know. If it's somebody else's child, we're gonna laugh. But if it's our own child, oh, don't touch my child, XYZ, ABC, you know? So, like I say, I respect everybody for their own social media platforms, but I think we need to be more sensitive when it comes to individuals, especially our young people and our youth, and things about our youth and things about the sensitive parts of life. We have to be more cautious and careful when we do that type of stuff, especially on social media.
Agreed. Now, I have a question. Persons want you to define the LGBTQIA acronym for them.
Okay. L, lesbian. You can help me with this too. I'm just going to say one and let me see what you know. L, lesbian. G, gay. B, bisexual. Q, questioning. A, asexual. And I is the intersex.
Okay. Now, obviously, I know what lesbian is. I think most persons know what lesbian is. But when it comes to gay, you see that sometimes women use that term in regards to themselves as well. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that only males should use the term gay, or is it interchangeable?
Well, the thing about it is gay is a sexual orientation. And being gay is your sexual orientation and your sexual preference, totally different from gender. Women's gender are women. And if a woman is gay, her sexual orientation is that if she likes another female, she is gay. So orientation and gender is two different things. So it's fine for a woman to say she's gay.
But then again, is it fine for a man to say that? Well, he can say that he's a lesbian in the traditional sense, but gay men have basically, some of them get offended if a female who is attracted to the same sex says that she is gay. They basically, she should stick to the term lesbian.
Nah, well, like I said, I am totally one against terminology and defining individuals in classes and groups. For one, I'm totally against that. Why can't you just be who you are? Why can't you just be Susie, Mary, Jane, Joe? Why do I have to be identified lesbian, transsexual, pansexual? Why can't I just be that, you know? And the thing about it is, some people take it to a whole different extreme. Oh, she don't have to go around here telling everybody she's a lesbian and oh, she gay or she this and that. Just live your life, and I'm one for that. But the thing about it is sometimes you have to go in certain roles, in certain places just to define who you are and to defend who you are. For example, if you are a lesbian woman, you like women, You need not to be playing with men and having men thinking that you like them. That's leading them on. And that's where I think most of the conflict and all of these things come in. That's why bisexuality comes. I didn't use that acronym too. The B is bisexual and the T is transgender. And the thing about it is, it's different classes of people's sexual orientation. And the T has included of one's gender. So the orientation of an individual, the sexual orientation, who are you attracted to is the question. Some lesbians are attracted to both males and females. So it falls them under the class of being bisexual. Then you have the pansexual that's attracted to both, all. You know, she just loves, he just loves. And the pansexuality of it all is their orientation is they don't matter who they're with, they're going to love them. Be it transsexual, bisexual, straight, gay, male, it does not matter. So when it comes to using the word gay and lesbian, I just think we need to get away from defining individuals' sexual orientation and let's just be sexual. That's just the whole thing about it.
Okay. Speaking on that, in terms of bullying within the community, so like you said, persons often feel some kind of way towards bisexuals and that, oh, you want it all, you're not sure, or if you're dating someone who's a bisexual, oh, they're gonna automatically leave you for a member of the opposite sex. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the thing about it is most men are intimidated. I just think I think it's our Western binary culture that have us this way. For example, especially for males, they'd be like, oh, if I lose my woman to another woman, I must not be doing something right, or something I'm doing wrong. And males feel like they're weaker when that happens. But the thing about it is sexuality and who you are attracted to, you cannot control that. You know, you don't wake up one morning and say, oh, I like girls. Oh, I like boys. Oh, I'm attracted to transgendered women. No, that sexuality is something that's on the inside of us. Either we're going to cultivate it or we're going to leave it dormant. You know, everyone has a thought of some type of sexual experience. If you're gay, you're gay. If you're bisexual, you're bisexual. If you're not, you're not. Nobody can turn you gay. Nobody can turn you into a bisexual. Nobody can turn you into your own sexual orientation. That's who you are. Some people like chicken and they only eat chicken. Some people like steak and chicken, so they have steak and chicken. I can't make you eat chicken if you don't eat chicken. You're not going to eat it. That's the best example I can put it. But the whole thing about it is sexual, as far as one's sexual orientation, who you're attracted to, that's something on the inside of you.
Okay, agreed. I believe that sexuality is fluid. It's not all black and white, and it can change
anytime.
Yeah. Okay.
People would say, "Oh, I never do this, or I'll never do that. I'll never," you know. And some people, yes, you may never because it's not on the inside of you. You're not attracted to that. It is what you're attracted to. Experimental homosexuality or experimental lesbianism, college lesbianism. I mean, these are sexual desires and feelings that people experience. It does not make your orientation, you know. And people believe, oh, if I do this or if I did that, I'm gay. No, you're not. Either you are or you're not.
All right. So we're going to take some questions. Stephen wants to know, what do you define as gender?
Gender is not your sexual orientation, number one. Gender can come in many forms, and the binary Western definition for gender taught me, if a man is born with a penis, he is a male, which is incorrect. If a woman is born with a vagina, she is a female, which are the biological parts of gender, so to speak, okay? And that comes with anatomical gender, meaning your birth, your sign, sex at birth. So gender to me is whatever you identify with. It has to connect with your brain and fall in line with your body.
Okay. We have a question from Nicole, and she says, would you say that workplace harassment for the LGBT community is down to simple ignorance, fear, or religious doctrine? She says because she knows someone whose mother has said that they don't want anything to do with them because the daughter now identifies as gay in the Bahamas.
I think it encompasses all three, from the ignorance, the religious and our culture. Our culture has a lot to play with this, as far as our great-great-grandmothers and our grandmothers and our upcoming family members. It plays a lot as far as what we have been taught. They told me there was a Santa Claus, and I believed them. They told me it was an Easter Bunny, and I believed them. You understand? These were things that was instilled in us from childhood. So it's difficult for us now to get away from these things until we come into our own truths and into our own knowledge. That's why you have to know who you are as an individual and seek your own peace and your own happiness. As far as not what somebody tell you what is peace, because what peace is to you may not be what peace is to me. And what I think it is religion has also played a part as far as just keeping us down. It's just like slavery, you know. It's just like a mental slavery, a bondage that people are living in. Instead of living in peace, half of the Bahamas is living in pieces. And I keep saying this. The reason being is because they don't identify and find who they are. They wait for somebody else to lead them. You have to lead your own destiny, and you have to lead your own self. And for the individual who parent has nothing to do with them because of their sexual orientation, it's a lack of knowledge. And you can't blame most of these people. They don't know. They don't teach sex education in school as far as LGBTQ is concerned. The first thing they would say, oh, that's an abomination. And that was never said it was an abomination, you know? People have used religion as a form, as a weapon to keep people oppressed and depressed in our country for too long.
Okay, how do you, well, I know that we probably have persons who are deeply religious that are listening in, but how do you believe, what are your thoughts on religious members of the community? How do you think that they should basically reconcile the fact that they are religious along with the fact that they are gay or lesbian or bisexual? How do you think that they should match those two together?
Well, the thing about it is religion is totally, I don't believe in religion. I believe in a relationship. And whatever you believe in, God, Buddha, whoever you believe in, the thing about it is you have a spirit man. And your spirit man is it's a connected thing to another individual that nobody sees or nobody knows but you. What God is to you may not be what God is to me. God might be to you shaka shaka raka raka laying on hands. But God comes to me in the form of people, places, and individuals in my life. So what God is to those individuals, they have allowed religion and doctrines to influctuate their heads so they can have their own way of thinking. You understand? The thing about it is, what's on the inside of you? Spirit has no gender. Spirit has no sexual orientation. And if you are connected to the spirit, there are different things that you are going to do and you're going to fall in line to. So who you are as an individual, and if you want to talk about having a relationship with whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, because you have a spirit, and that spirit is connected to that individual that you believe in, not religion. That's my own personal.
Well said. I know plenty of people pissed with that.
Well, it's true. I mean, on the inside of you, when you lay down at night, you lay down with your spirit and you lay down with yourself. You don't lay down with the pastor's or the religion or whatever you've been taught. It's just like picking up a math book. 1 + 1 is 2. You've been taught that. There's no way you can get around that. Now, if you find another way to say 1 + 1 is 2, you tell me. There are different methods of finding 1 + 1 is 2. Correct? Take away the negative, add the positive. You get what? 2 squared. So the thing about it is you finding what works for you, especially when it comes to your faith and your walk with whoever you believe in, God, Jehovah, Rasta, whatever you believe. It's a connection to something. Everybody wants something to believe in. And whatever you believe in, you hold on to that. Don't let anybody take you away from that. You cannot. The thing about it is you're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be holistic and complete. And that's what people try to do. Oh, I'm trying to be perfect like Jesus. I'm trying to be perfect like this. Whatever you believe in, it's finding that holistic connection to your faith. And if your faith tells you, like I say, what God is to you may not be what God is to me. And that's the difference. At the end of the day, we all want something to believe in. Some of us don't believe in anything, but we have a spirit and we have a connection to our inner conscience, and we just believe in the things of the earth. You understand? To those individuals, that may be their God. Who am I to say that's not God? You know? So I think it's personal for an individual. It's a very personal thing. And when religious folks attack the spirit that's on the inside of you, that's when you have to get stupid and crazy and say, hey, hold up, you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well said. I'm just going to be feeding you questions, basically, that we have from persons in the group. So someone wants to know, were you ever in a position where you feared for your life?
No, not that I can recall, because I'm the type of individual, I'm not going to put myself in harm's way, first of all. For example, I'm not going to put myself in areas and situations. See, I'm probably kind of different from most people. Like myself, I'm not going to go somewhere where I'm going to be in harm's way. So there are boundaries that I've set personally for myself, to protect me from certain people and certain things. I'm not going to just deliberately put myself in harm's way. But to the response to the question, no.
Okay. How dangerous is it for a transgendered person to be forthcoming with that info? Like, do you ever come into a situation where you say, maybe it's best that I not let this person know this about me, or are you generally pretty open with it?
Well, as far
face this.
Well, for me, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I'm not going to broadcast it, and I'm not going to explain it to you. Those that know, and those that don't. I carry myself in a professional, respectable manner. It's about respect. It's all about how you carry yourself. It's just like a normal human being, everyday human being. See, the thing about it is people have this concept, transgender is drag queen. Totally not. That's two different things. That's why it's so hard for them to fathom and say, oh, this is just a boy dressing up. And no, it's everything woman. It's totally woman. The mindset, the thinking, the attitude. It's just totally different. It's not drag queen. So when people say that, that's why they probably ask certain questions like that. Most transgenders aren't probably natural looking, or you can say, oh, that's a man, or you could tell that was a man, just by some facial features, but you got some natural born women who have masculine features. And then you have some natural born women who have feminine features, such as males and females, if you want to class them as males or females. So I think what it is mostly the question of the individual being able to be a passable transgender and not being attacked, or people saying, oh, that's a transgender. So I think for me it works totally. It works for me. That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you. Another question coming in is, do you as a transgendered woman identifying as female, do you date men? And if so, is that considered a heterosexual relationship?
In response to the question, if a transgender does date men, she is of heterosexual orientation, correct? Because her whole thinking is that of heterosexual. Now, the sexual orientation, like I say, sexual orientation and gender is two different things, because you have transgenders that have lesbian relationships. You have transgenders that go with other transgenders. You have transgenders that just date gay male. There are transgenders that just date heterosexual males. So sexual orientation plays who you love. It's not who you, it's about who you love, who you're attracted to. So it's just no one set of persons, oh, I'm attracted to a heterosexual male. Because you have a transgender that can be attracted to a lesbian or a heterosexual woman, So when it comes to the roles of sexual orientation, it's totally open. It's a totally open area, an open field.
Okay. Another question is, how soon do you feel that a transgendered person should let a person know that they are trans, or should they have to at all?
Well, the thing about it is, if you are in a relationship and you are headed in a relationship with an individual, truth is number one. The thing about it is, we don't have to just identify as transsexual. Why can't I just be Alexis? And that's why I keep trying to tell people, why do we have to label it? Why do we have to put a label on it? But in our culture, in our society, everybody knows everybody. So the thing about it is, you have to be very specific and clear and direct when you deal with, especially males. It is a responsibility. It's a responsibility and a duty, if you're headed into a relationship, to let the individual know. For me, I would do that. I would let the individual know.
Okay. And have you ever received any backlash for that? Like, for example, if you were to, in a romantic relationship, say that, well, I'm a transgendered person, Have you ever received any, well, no thanks but no thanks, anything like that?
Well, the thing about it is I mean, for me personally, I've been in a relationship, and when I met my partner, the thing about it is he identified and saw a woman. So in his mindset, that's all he see, that's all he know. Now, when it got to the dating stage and he started to get serious and different stuff like that, that's when you have to sit down and you say, okay, this is A, this is B, this is C. Now, I've never had an opportunity to be bashed or rejected because of it, because of that relationship. But I know of cases of individuals where men just wouldn't understand it. Men don't understand it, and men don't respect it. Some men just want it for curiosity, sex. To them, that's a fantasy. The best of both worlds, why not? So it plays on the individual. Some transsexuals have it, and as I keep saying, transsexuals, transgenders, I'm using different terminologies. Transsexuals probably are the ones who would be more of doing it for sexual fantasies for the individual. Most guys, when they see that, they'll be like, okay, I've never experienced that. You're totally different. Let's try it. Let's do it, and they become introduced into transgendered sex. But as for a relationship, I would say definitely the individual, you have to tell the individual based on where you're headed in life. But a normal person, casual conversation, hi, hello, you don't have to say who you are. I'm Alexis,
Okay. What would you say is the difference between a transgendered person and a transsexual person?
Well, there's no difference as far as transgender and transsexual both fall under the umbrella. The thing about it is most transsexuals feel comfortable where they're at, as far as those that are into just the breast and not going further as far as the augmentation. I mean, as far as having the sex reassignment surgery and stuff like that, most transsexuals are there. Most transgenders are in the process of having everything done, completed, totally done, living their life totally authentically as females. There's no difference. It's just a different term and terminology. You'll see transsexuals mostly, they'll use that word as far as erotic, as an erotic term or something like that.
Okay.
There's no difference though. It's all on the same umbrella.
Okay. Now, I know that you had been abroad for some time. How difficult was it to basically transition back into living in the Bahamas? How was it transitioning into your new identity as opposed to your former identity in terms of, now I know you said that your old friends, they basically said, well, this is who we always knew you were, but did you experience any difficulties in terms of changing your name, changing your gender on government documents and things like this?
Well, there's no difficulty as far as I'm concerned, as far as legal documents are concerned in changing name. That's a process. That there was a transgender that had difficulties, and there wasn't even difficulties. It's just people being disgusted again, placing it in the newspaper, on the websites. Oh, guy changes name to female name because of a lack of knowledge. The thing about it is, making a statement and being who you are, living an authentic life is very important to trans individuals, to any individuals, no matter who you are. You want to be content, you want to be peaceful, and you want to be happy. And whatever it takes to get to that level, that's what you're going to do. So for most transgender persons, name changes such as document markers in the Bahamas, it's not difficult at all to get done. You put your deed poll into the newspaper, somebody spots your name. I mean, you have those disgusting ones, like I say, would probably post it or something like that, but we've already passed that part of it. So the thing about it is, it's not difficult. I haven't experienced it. If it happens to someone, I mean, I definitely, I'll be aware of it, because it will come to me and they'll tell me, well, this is what happened, X, Y, Z, ABC, but it's not difficult at all.
Do you think that it's easier now than it was back then in terms of society's perception and, yeah? Yeah,
I think now we're more tolerant because of social media, because of reading, and because of the things on television, and because of the exposure to transgenders on a whole. I think what it is now people are becoming more tolerant. The thing about it is respecting a person's space, respecting a person's peace of mind to live a happy, authentic life in this country. And that's all it's about, If the people want to gamble, let them gamble, that's their peace. If the people want to change their name, let them go change their name, that's their peace. You understand? Only thing what bothers me in this country is the hypocrisy. Every person in this country, I don't care who you are, they know somebody that's either gay, somebody that's either black, somebody that's either white, and everybody have their own prejudices. That's never going to change. But you cannot tell me I cannot live a happy, authentic life in my own country. That's all it's about. Respecting each other, giving each other an opportunity to grow, to be a part. That's all it is.
Okay, well said. So I have a question from Natalia, one of our panelists. She wants to know, do you think it would be a good move to migrate away from labels and propose sexuality just as one thing where everyone feels differently about it?
Yes, I agree in moving away from labels and just let the person be Susie, Jane, John, Jack, Jill, Tommy, Peter, just why can't they just be who they are? Why do you have to say, oh, that's that sissy girl, Tamika. Oh, that's that sissy boy, Tommy. Why? Oh, that's that bisexual boy, Johnny. Why? Okay, let's just use heterosexual. Why we don't say, oh, look at that adulterous Sarah. Oh, look at that fornicating Trevor. Okay, let's start doing that then. Nobody would like that.
No.
But because something is different and because people don't understand it, they would use their own personal prejudices. And it's fine to have your prejudices. It's fine. But when you start infringing on the rights of others and denying the rights of others, that's when it becomes a problem.
Okay. I have a question from Desiree Roberts. She says she loves the fact that this is so well organized to assist this particular community and the information is available. How can you increase the awareness that this exists for persons that are interested? Like I mentioned, executive teams, persons qualified to do such.
Well, right now, like I said, the platform we're using is social media, which seems to be the most effective platform. And there's also WhatsApp. That's very effective. Just coming back here, I see that's like the big thing in the Bahamas. You can have your little groups. You can have, and word of mouth is so, these things are so, social media is like the number one thing to get information out there. So the information is available to anybody out there. If you're on the web, if you're on WhatsApp, people know people. In this country, everybody knows somebody. So what I would suggest, they get with someone that they know that's of LGBTQI status, or you can also find me on Facebook, Alexis DeMarco. I'm always there. Any type, get in contact with somebody that's of the LGBT community who will direct you into the sources and the guides that you need. And there is help and there are things available for individuals, especially LGBTQ teens, especially persons who are, some people are not even sure who they are. They battle with this. And these types of things lead to suicide. These things lead to depression. These things lead to a lack of feeling self-worth. And they fall into different areas of their lives. Like I said, the fight is not about me. The fight is about my nieces and nephews that are coming up after me. Your sons and daughters who may not go through what I went through, but who will have an opportunity that they don't have to go through what I went through, because we will now have policies and procedures in place to protect those individuals.
Okay. I have another question going back to when you spoke on your relationship. Was or is the person that you're in a relationship with heterosexual?
Heterosexual male, correct.
Okay. Great. I have another question. So Jasper wants to know, Jasper says, some people believe that the use of strap-ons in lesbian sex means that women secretly want men. Do you think that this is true?
No, that's not true. For example, sexual toys are just stimulations in sexual relationships. There's just things to spice up your relationship. At the end of the day, a lesbian woman, all lesbian women don't use strap-ons. Most lesbian women, they choose sex toys that enhances the relationship. Even in a heterosexual relationship, I know of heterosexuals that use strap-on their husbands and on their relationships. The thing about it is, whatever your erotic desire and fantasy is, you're going to play that out no matter what it is. Being hooked on a strap-on, a dildo, whatever you call it, meaning that they want a penis, that's not true.
Do you think that there is any significance to the fact that the strap-ons or that most sexual toys are fashioned after the shape of a penis?
I think what it is it's fashion like that. Like I say, things are changing, and at the beginning, that's what it was equated as. There are different toys more than strap-on that lesbians have sex with, you know? Not even lesbians, heterosexuals, bisexuals. There's more than the penis. But, you know, most people just equate it because, oh, she has on a strap-on, she wants a penis. No, that's not what it is. That's exactly not what it is. What it is because at that particular time, that's probably all that they've explored, and they know, oh, let me just get this. But there are different things, such as the bullet, such as the Taurus. There's just different sexual toys that will expand and enhance a relationship. Equating the dildo to them wanting a penis is totally a myth. No.
Okay, excellent. I have another question. So, what do you think that younger members of the community can do to basically erase these stereotypes and get the larger community and society more involved in making sure that members of the LGBTQ community are included in organizations, in schools, without any fear of backlash or discrimination or bullying?
Well, the first thing is the community have to accept themselves. You cannot expect the Bahamas to accept you if you're still hiding, if you're not accepted yourself, if you still can't say to your mother or your father that this is who I am. You understand? And because it starts from the rejection in the family, families don't understand LGBTQ. And I think because our Bahamas is so family orientated, we don't have these discussions. Like, for example, if a guy goes to his family and say, oh, I'm gay, the first thing they say, what the hell are you talking about? Get the hell out of my house, you know? So what we're doing is we're implementing a safe house. This is one of the things that we're going to begin doing. A safe house for LGBT individuals who experience this type of rejection from the family. Because the next thing, the minute they get thrown out there on the streets, they're homeless, they're this thing, they resort to all kinds of things. They go into a different span of their life. So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to create a safe house. And what the safe house will do, we're not going to house you, feed you, and you not get the general basic. Still go to get your education, still go to college, still go to work. But the only thing is you're going to have a safe space and a safe place to be an authentic individual, to live an authentic life. So that's what we're working on, finding a place to go if these individuals do get this type of discrimination from family members. Because that's the only thing, you know. Once they have accepted themselves and their family have accepted them, they move on and they live authentic lives. But it starts within the family. And like I said, religion and our culture and the Western binary culture has played a lot in bondage of our individuals, of human beings, of our whole makeup and our whole existence. They have oppressed and suppressed us not to live authentic lives.
How do you feel that we as members can pretty much, I don't want to say encourage, but get our families to be more supportive and understanding, and basically kind of help persons to come out of the closet, so to speak?
Mm-hmm. I think what it is, not so much coming out of the closet. I don't want to use this term coming out of the closet. It's so cliche. What I want to say is acceptance of who you are. And I keep going back to this. You first have to accept who you are. When you start accepting who you are, there are certain things that you're going to do and it's not going to change. There are patterns that you're going to start forming. There's just things you're going to do, and family members will notice these patterns. Now, what's going to happen, some may pay attention to it, and some might be like, damn, I don't give a damn what they're doing. You understand? Excuse my language. They don't care what you're doing. You understand? The thing about it is with family members, the coming out process is very, very difficult, and I hate using that. Being who you are is very difficult in a family situation because what? They feed you, there's a roof over your head, they pay your tuition, all these things you're at risk for, being cut off from the family inheritance, all these things go run through your head, you know? The thing about it is, I would tell an individual who's struggling with that, First of all, start off with small conversations about the topic. That's the only way you're going to get it, by having a sensible conversation. Now, some people come from broken homes. So for them to even start a conversation like that, the brokenness where they come from, it's going to be very difficult. So they have to use situations inside of the home to start correcting their own personal situations. But like I say, the best thing to do is start off in small conversations. That's the best thing I can say. Also, try to get you at least some family member is okay with it. Some family member don't give a damn. And if you can link with that family member who will be able to assist you as far as telling your other family members, then go ahead and do that. Some people don't have that at all, which is very difficult. But they have people in the community, counselors, they're psychologists, there are people that can help you as far as this coming out process is concerned.
Do you have a relationship with your family?
Oh, yes. At first, my family, they were very like, okay, our family could accept a person being gay, but when you say transgender, what's that? They even could accept drag queen. But when it goes into the transgender part of it, they had no understanding of it. So what I had to do is I had to sit everyone down and I had to explain to them, this is what it is. This is how this happens. This is what I was going through as a child. But they didn't understand it. They just said, oh, that's a sissy boy. Oh, he could be gay. But it's because of a lack of knowledge. Now they have clarity and now they have an understanding. Just how you can pick up a textbook and read 1 + 1 is 2, or read a biology book, or read any type of book and get the clarity and the knowledge and the understanding that you need, you can do the same thing with individual lives.
Are there any members of your family that weren't okay with it, and to this day you and them still don't speak?
Not per se. I mean, they know it's just me. You know, I don't have there's not a family member that I can say, no, I'm cool with all of them. So they may not, the thing about it is they may not understand it, but they respect it. And I think that's what it is for my family. It's more of a respect level. And if you respect and love your child or your children, you will not change. Your feelings of love don't change. You have love does not change. I mean, if a situation comes up, I mean, it's difficult for you to love your child or love your family because of who they are, then you have to check yourself. Something is wrong with you as an individual, because this person is trying to live an authentic life. You prefer your child to, okay, go get married. Oh, knowing this boy don't like no woman, but you force your child to go get married just for the family's sake, you're doing more damage than good. You understand? Oh, you're going to say, I'm trying to save my son from this homosexual demon and this. No, baby, that ain't how that go. Those persons individually, that spirit is totally different. Different. You know, you have to make, as an individual, as a family member, or whoever you may be, something, you have to check yourself. Where did I go wrong? You understand? And not accepting the individual. Because you know what? Some of them have their own personal problems that they haven't accepted. They haven't let go. Some of them are in marriages that they don't even want to be in. You know why? Because they have accepted that, oh, this is all I can get, or this is all I'm worth, or he's all I can get. You know? So self-acceptance is a very serious thing. People are not living in the peace that they ought to be living in. They're not living these authentic lives. And it's based, I say, back to culture. Back to our Western binary culture. Pride. Everybody wants to be somebody, but nobody wants to go to the struggle of becoming somebody. You know? That's just what it is.
Do you think that it's more difficult for persons of certain orientations to come to grips with who they are than it is for others? Like, is it more, do you think that transgendered persons have it more of an issue with coming to terms with themselves than, say, a gay person or a lesbian or bisexual? Do you think that there are levels of ease depending on your orientation?
No, I think it's across the board. Everybody have coming out issues. There's no specific category or person. That's not even just LGBT. Even heterosexuals have their acceptance issues. Accepting being black. is an issue. Accepting being white is an issue. Accepting being multiracial is an issue. So everybody have their own issues of acceptance. The problem is identifying those issues and dealing with it. If you just like a cut, you just keep bandaging that cut and putting the Band-Aid on it, but you didn't go to the core of the infection. It's still going to be there. So that's what I'm trying to say. And I keep going back to acceptance because that's what is the issue. You have to first deal with yourself before you can deal with anybody else. All this hoopla and all this pump and pageantry of this community, it's sick. It's just disgusting because these people aren't living authentic lives.
Okay, well, that's all the time that we have for today. This was very informative. Person seemed to be very tuned into what you have to say, and I know that's because most persons don't know anyone that's transgendered, so it's been really nice to have a person that's on the inside that knows exactly what everyone is facing in the transgender community, as well as the LGBT community. Now, we lost Natalia and Kyle, so we're going to have a part 2 next week, hopefully. You're welcome to join. I don't know if you have anything else to contribute, but that's what the plan is for now. So thank you so much once again. Do you have any parting words that you want to leave with our viewers? Persons who may be watching and are struggling with coming to terms with themselves. If you can just say 1 or 2 things to them.
Well, I would say this to them. I want you to start living in peace and stop living in pieces. That's all I want for you, to live in peace with yourself. At the end of the day, you're going to lay down with yourself. And if you're not living this authentic life, you're going to continue struggling and having these mental battles and having all these issues in your life. Try to find the peace and clean up the pieces in your life instead of looking at the pieces in other people's lives. Who are at peace? That's it.
Well said. Thank you so much once again. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. This has been an informative chat, as I'm sure you guys will agree. I guess we'll see you next week if we continue next week with this, but I'm pretty sure that we will. So thank you. I'll see you around.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye now.